Greetings, Planeswalkers. I got a new deck for you. This is a deck that I've been thinking about for a little while, kind of just considering some of the cards that I've got, and I think it all came together when I first saw the Reflective Golem, and I thought, okay, here's a card that's got an interesting mechanic, but I never really put anything together with it. And then recently, I thought, okay, Goldspan Dragon, when it's targeted by a spell, we create a treasure token that is worth 2 mana. And I started saying, okay, well, here's a couple of creatures to put in. And then Illuminator Virtuoso also has a similar mechanic. It's double strike, and when it becomes the target of a spell, we control a connive. So this is what I put together. So in the 1 mana range, it's a tri-color deck, obviously white, blue, red. We got for 1 white, Wings of the Cosmos. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying. Untap it. Spell Pierce is a 1 blue counter. Mostly for people that try to take out our creatures because it's a fairly creature-specific deck. And it might slow them down if they got a lot of mana. Obviously, it's not going to do much. Daring Escape, 1 red. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until the end of turn. Scry 1. So a little utility there. The Reflective Golem, it's got to be specific to this creature. It can't affect multiple creatures, which is why you've got just these single target spells. So Illuminator Virtuoso, Refuse to Yield, and Rune of Sustenance for 1 colorless, 1 white. I already went over the Illuminator Virtuoso, and I'll talk about the conniving here in a minute, because I've got cards with Disturb in this deck. So I'm basically getting the connive when I have those cards like Dorthea and Brine Comber, and Angelfire Ignition's got flashback. So, although I don't know necessarily know if that works for that. Anyway, but those are the candidate cards for conniving, and then you still get the benefit of the card. Refuse to Yield. This is a really good card. +2/+7 is ridiculous, and we get to untap it as an instant. Rune of Sustenance, good card because we get to get a draw when we target a creature, and it has lifelink. Stormchaser Drake for 1 colorless, 1 blue. We've got a flying creature that's 2/1 that when we target it with something, we draw a card. So if it's Rune of Sustenance, we got 2 cards there. Stolen Vitality, also an instant, 1 colorless, 1 red, gets +3/+1 until the end of turn. If it's your turn, that creature gains trample. Otherwise, it gains for strike. You know how much I like cards with options, and this one has a good option for a common card. Dorthea, Vengeful Victim. We've got a pretty hefty blocker or attacker. Obviously, we need to sacrifice it, but mostly it's in here for the Disturb, because when we enchant a creature, we're going to hit up that Stormchaser Drake and draw a card, or we're going to hit up the Goldspan Dragon and get another treasure token. Kaya's Onslaught, good card, +1/+1 double strike. It's also a foretell card. This card is an interesting card, and this was one of the cards that I considered for this deck, and it's so specialized, but I also think the text is a little unclear. So it's a flyer, it's a 2/3 legendary creature, 0 mana. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way, etc., etc. We can only activate this once a turn. So in my mind, with this card out, it then enables us to cast instants or sorceries out of our graveyard, but I think it's deceptive because I think it implies that you can cast them for free. That's not the case. You basically pay the regular casting cost. It just allows you to cast those spells out of the graveyard. So this just plays right in with this deck concept of hitting our creatures with boosts and, propagating that whole thing. Reidane, God of the Worthy, or Valkamera's Protector Shield. In this case, I like the shield better. If a source opponent controls will do you damage, or to a permanent we control, we prevent 1. And then whenever you or another permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability, and opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless the controller pays 1. So I've got 4 of these in here. Obviously the goal is get 1 Valkyria out and get 1 Reidane out, because Reidane is a pretty nice creature. Flying Vigilance and Snowlands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. Non-creature spells your opponent's cast with mana value 4 more cost 2 more to cast. Good card, I think. Katilda, Dawnhart, Martyr also has Disturb. We can enchant a creature with its enchantment aura, and again, we're hitting up these creatures that do something when we enchant them. Brine Comber, like I said, this is a Disturb card, so we can use it to connive for Illuminator Virtuoso, and when we enchant something, we get that bonus. Angelfire Ignition, this card is awesome. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature, Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste. And it has Flashback. Obviously, it's a rare, but great card. Reflective Golem. We cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Reflective Golem. We may pay 2, and then we can hit another one of our creatures with that spell. So, a combination like Reflective Golem and Stormchaser, Reflective Golem and Illuminator Virtuoso, Reflective Golem and Goldspan. We're getting double the bang for the buck when we're buffing our creatures. Goldspan Dragon, I'm sure everybody's familiar with this card. It's a great card. Then we've got these crazy cards I stuck in here that just... I don't even know if I've ever gotten any one of these out playing this deck, but Jin-Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant, Legendary. When you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, we can copy that spell. So now you see where that comes in. And whenever opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell. That triggers once per turn. We've got Velomachus Lorehold, Flying Vigilance, Haste. When he attacks, look at the top 7. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana less than or equal to Velomachus Lorehold's power. So that's pretty much every card in here that's an instant or a sorcery. And then Jadzi, Oracle of Arcavios. I don't know if I'd even be able to get this card out. I wonder if I have enough islands in here. Anyway, discard a card, return Jadzi Oracle to its owner's hand. Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it by paying 1 rather than its mana cost. Or if it's a land, we put it into the battlefield. So that is a killer card. Not even that interested in the green aspect of it. And then, of course, we've got lands here. We've got these multicolors in here to give us options. The Axgard Armory is there to get the Rune of Sustenance out. So I hope you like the deck. Give it a try. It's really not horrible except for these cards, and you really don't need them for the deck to be good. These are just kind of like, holy crap, and you drop one of those if you have the mana to do it, and they're game changers. Not that I even ever had the opportunity to do it, because it's a pretty fast deck. You get some of these smaller creatures out, and they become very large creatures, or boosted to the extent that it does a lot of damage. So I hope you like the deck. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notifications button. I'm back to the at least once a day videos. There's also a gameplay video on this deck, so I'll be posting that as well. And this is the Gamesman saying, see you next time.